For most families, time brings healing. The sharp edges of grief begin to soften. The pain never disappears completely, but life slowly finds a way forward. For families of the missing, however, time often works differently. There is no funeral, no graveside service, no final goodbye, no certainty. Instead, there is only waiting and questions. Always questions. This is part 7, The Disappearance of Gina Bos. For the family of Regina Bos, the years following her disappearance became measured not by answers, but by milestones she never got to see. Birthdays, graduations, holidays, weddings. The ordinary moments that become extraordinary when someone you love is missing. Her children grew older. The little boys she worked so hard to provide for became men. Her daughter grew into adulthood, and life continued moving forward. Yet Gina remained frozen in time, forever 40 years old, forever walking out of Duggan's pub, forever heading toward her car she may never have reached. One of the most difficult aspects of a missing person's case is the uncertainty. When someone dies, there is grief, profound grief, but there is also an answer, a painful answer perhaps, but an answer nonetheless. Families of the missing live in a different reality. They are forced to exist between hope and heartbreak, between possibility and probability. Every phone call carries a question. Every lead brings anticipation. Every rumor raises expectations, and every dead end delivers a fresh disappointment. For years, Gina's family have endured exactly that. Leads would emerge, then disappear. Rumors would circulate, and then collapse under scrutiny. Tips would arrive, then lead nowhere, again and again. One of the greatest fears families face in unsolved cases is that the public will forget, that eventually the headlines stop, the news cameras leave, the flyers come down, the phone stops ringing, and the missing person becomes little more than a fading memory. Gina's family refused to allow that to happen, particularly her sister, Janelle. In the next episode after this, you're going to hear from Janelle herself. Over the years, she became one of the most visible advocates for keeping Gina's case in the public eye. Interviews were given, awareness campaigns were organized, events were held, and rewards were promoted. Billboards displayed Gina's face across Nebraska, and each effort carried the same message. Someone knows something. Someone has always known something. And someday, perhaps, that someone will finally speak. The family's determination has become one of the defining aspects of this case, because while investigators searched for evidence, Gina's loved ones searched for something equally important: memory. They wanted people to remember Gina, not simply as a missing person, not simply as a cold case, but as a human being, a mother, a sister, a daughter, a musician, a woman whose life mattered. It's easy, especially after 25 years, to become focused entirely on the mystery, the timeline, the theories, the suspects, the unanswered questions. But when we do that, we risk overlooking the person at the center of the story. Regina Bos was not born a cold case. She was a child growing up in a large Nebraska family, a little girl singing alongside her siblings in church, a teenager with dreams, a young woman searching for her place in the world. a mother raising 3 children, a creative soul who found comfort in music, someone who continued pushing forward even when life became difficult, someone who appeared to be entering one of the most hopeful periods of her life. And that fact stands out, not because it proves anything, but because it makes her disappearance so difficult to understand. By every account, Gina was moving forward. Gina was moving to her future, moving to stability, moving to opportunity, moving to a better future, not away from it. One detail continues to surface whenever Gina's story is told: the guitar, Harley. In many ways, it has become a symbol of the entire mystery. Investigators found it sitting inside the trunk of her Saturn, safe, undamaged, waiting. The same, though, cannot be said for Gina. For those who knew her best, that image remains deeply unsettling, because it wasn't where the guitar was found that mattered. It was where Gina wasn't. If Harley was in the trunk, where was Gina? If Gina placed it there herself, what happened next? If someone else placed it there, why? And why was the trunk partially open? Why wasn't it fully latched? Was it interrupted, abandoned, overlooked? Or does the answer lie in a detail investigators have never revealed publicly? 25 years later, the guitar named Harley remains one of the most haunting pieces of this puzzle. And not because it provides answers, but because it raises so many questions. As this episode is being recorded, more than a quarter century has passed since Gina Bos disappeared. Entire neighborhoods have changed. Businesses have come and gone. Technology has transformed the world. People who weren't even born in 2000 are now adults. And still, the mystery remains. No one has been arrested. No body found. No definitive answers. Only a collection of facts. A timeline, a vehicle, a guitar, and a family still searching for the truth. Perhaps that is why this case continues to resonate with so many people, because despite all the years that have passed, it still feels like this can be solved. It still feels as though the answers exist, as if one conversation, one witness, one piece of evidence could finally bring everything into focus, could finally explain what happened during those missing moments after Gina walked out of Duggan's pub, could finally answer the question that has haunted her family since October 17th, 2000. Where is Gina? And here is how you can help. If you were around this area at this time, knew any of the people at Duggan's pub that evening, knew Gina at this time, or any of her friends or people she was close to, if you remember hearing anything or seeing anything that was strange or unusual during this time frame, please reach out and provide that information. You never know what small detail could help turn this around. Please reach out and call the Lincoln Police Department at 402-441-7204 or 402-441-7708. If you have questions about the show or want to email me, please email me at admin@guidinglights.org. That's admin@guidinglights.org. You can also message me on the podcast Facebook page, and I'll leave a link to that in the show notes. At the time of her disappearance, Regina Marie Bos was 40 years old. She stood approximately 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighed between 105 and 120 pounds. She had auburn brown hair and brown eyes, freckles across her face. She had a tattoo of a small yellow rose on her back. Her ears were pierced multiple times, and she often wore wire-framed glasses or contact lenses. Friends and family knew her simply as Gina. The night she disappeared, she was wearing a short-sleeved black shirt, fitted black pants, and black ankle boots. According to investigators, Gina walked out of Duggan's pub near 11th and K Streets in Lincoln, Nebraska sometime around 1 a.m. on October 17th, 2000, and she has never been seen again. Somewhere there is an answer to this story. There has always been. Maybe it lives inside a memory someone has spent years trying to suppress. Maybe it exists in a conversation never reported. Maybe it's with a person who has remained silent for more than 2 decades. But the truth is out there because people do not simply vanish. Not mothers who love their children, not women celebrating a promotion, not someone looking forward to a new home, not someone excited about tomorrow. On the night Gina disappeared, she left behind everything she had spent years building: her children, her family, her music, her future. And perhaps that is why her loved ones have never accepted the idea that she chose to leave. And nothing about her life would even suggest that. In fact, everything about her life would suggest the opposite. A woman who is finally beginning to see brighter days ahead. A woman who deserves answers. A woman who deserves justice. And until those answers come, she remains a daughter waiting to come home, a sister waiting to be found, a mother waiting to be returned to the children she loved, and a reminder that somewhere in Nebraska, a truth still waits to be told. Stay tuned for the next episode, the interview with Gina's sister, Janelle.